Hi, this is Spencer with One Day CDL. I'll be demonstrating a modernized pre-trip inspection. So this is the in-cab inspection. Got my checklist handy. I'll start with the air brake check. First, I need to start the truck and build pressure to the cutoff, which in this truck is about 120 psi. So I'll go ahead and make sure I'm in neutral, clutch in, and start it up. If you'd like to get to full pressure quicker, go ahead and rev the motor. About 1,000 RPMs will get the air compressor going a little faster. So I'm at full pressure. I'll shut the motor off. I'll put the truck in gear, turn the key back on, push both brakes off. I'll give my pressure a moment to settle, and once it does, I will press and hold my brake pedal for 1 minute. Bring a timer. I'm making sure I don't lose more than 4 psi in that minute. So it's been a minute and it didn't leak more than 4 psi. So I will now pump down to 60 psi, and at 60 I should get a warning light and buzzer for low air. There's my warning light and buzzer. I'll continue to pump down, and in between 20 and 40 psi, both parking and trailer brakes will pop back out. So they've both popped out between 20 and 40 psi. That completes my air brake check. I'll now start the vehicle and continue on down my checklist. So the next thing on the list is the parking and trailer brake check. Pick a brake, push it in. The one that's left out is the one you're testing. So I'll be testing my parking brake. I'll clutch in, go to first gear, give it a small tug and make sure that it holds. We're not moving. Parking brake is holding, so it's working properly. Pull out the trailer brake and push in the parking brake to test my trailer brakes. Same thing, clutch out, we're not moving, trailer brake is holding, so it's working properly. Next is the service brake check, which you will just explain. The service brake check I would test by going forward at 5 miles per hour. I would apply the brake, and I need to make sure the truck does not pull to the right or left. I need to make sure no ABS light comes on. Next is lighting indicators. So just in the dash, I'm making sure that my left signal and right signal are both working. My high beams, my hazards are working. And if the truck has DEF, mention that the DEF light is working, and at this point, it's about 3/4 full. Next is emergency equipment. The truck is equipped with spare fuses. They're here in the ashtray. I have 3 reflective triangles under the seat, and my fire extinguisher is right here, securely mounted, fully charged, and DOT approved. Next is windshield and traffic monitoring devices, also known as mirrors. My windshield is securely mounted. It's fully sealed. It's not cracked, chipped, or broken, and there are no obstructions like illegal stickers or debris. My mirrors are securely mounted. They're adjusted for me. They're not cracked, chipped, or broken. Next is windshield wipers. So the wiper blades make full contact with the windshield. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. The rubber is not torn or frayed. They work with washer fluid. Next would be heat and defrost. I know it's warm out, but we're going to turn the heat on. Make sure both defrost and heat are working. Finally, we have the horns. Both my horns are working. At this point, I need to ask the DOT to step out and check my external lights. Once you've double checked your list, you're all done with the in-cab inspection. This is the walk-around pre-trip inspection for the outside of the vehicle. First, I need to inspect all my lenses. All my front lights are securely mounted. None are cracked or broken. They're all working, and they're all the proper color, which is amber and clear. I have clearance lights and turn signals that are amber. Both headlights are clear. Also, I need to check underneath the vehicle for any leaks. I don't see any water, oil, or any other fluids under the vehicle which would indicate a leak. So I'll go ahead and open the hood. With the hood open, I'll start on the passenger side. I need to inspect all the hoses, making sure all hoses are securely mounted. None are cracked, broken, or leaking. I don't hear any air leaks, and visually looking, I don't see any fluid leaks. I'll also check the coolant tank. The coolant tank itself is securely mounted. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking, and we can see that the level is full. Everything else will do on the driver's side. So on the driver's side, I also need to inspect all of the hoses. All the hoses are securely mounted. None are cracked, broken, or leaking. Again, I don't hear any air leaks or see any fluid leaks. I need to check the power steering fluid. The level is full, and the reservoir itself is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or leaking. I've already checked the oil this morning, and the level is full. Moving on to steering systems. I have the steering shaft, which is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. The U-joints are in place and tight. The steering box is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. The steering linkage is all securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, and the nuts and keys are in place and tight. From there I go to tires. My tire tread is worn evenly. I have no bald spots. There's more than 4 30-seconds of an inch of tread on my front tires. 2 30-seconds of an inch of tread on all the other tires. The sidewalls have no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. I've checked inflation on the tires with the tire gauge this morning, and the tires are full. The rim is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, and there are no aftermarket welds on the rim. The lug nuts are all tight. There's no rust trails or shiny threads to indicate a loose lug nut. Going back in, I'm looking at suspension. I have both front and rear spring mounts that are securely mounted and not cracked, bent, or broken. The leaf springs themselves are all in line, none have shifted, and none are cracked, bent, or broken. My leaf springs are securely mounted by 2 U-bolts in the middle. My shock is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Moving on to the brakes. I have a brake hose right here, which is securely mounted. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking. On the inside of the wheel is the brake drum and shoe. I need to make sure that the drum and shoe have no oil, grease, or any other contaminants in between them. Both drum and shoe are securely mounted, not cracked, bent, or broken. Looking at the side of the vehicle at all my lights. All my lights on truck and trailer are amber in front, red in the back. They're all securely mounted, not cracked or broken. They work, and I just described that they're the proper color. Moving on to the mirror brackets. Mirror brackets are securely mounted to the outside of the vehicle, and they are not cracked, bent, or broken. My fuel tank. The tank itself is securely mounted. It's not cracked, broken, or leaking. All the straps are tight and secure. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. I want to make sure the cap is tight, it's not missing or leaking. And then my lines are securely mounted and not cracked, broken, or leaking. Same description for the DEF tank. My DEF tank is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or leaking. Cap is tight, not missing or leaking. And then all the DEF lines are securely mounted and not cracked, broken, or leaking. Here's my battery box. I want to make sure that all my batteries are securely mounted. There's no damage to the wires or corrosion, and all the batteries look to be in good repair. I want to close the battery and make sure that the battery box is locked for travel. Frames. Both truck and trailer frames are secure with cross members and bolts. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no illegal welds on either the truck or trailer frames. Air and electrical lines. Blue line is my service line. Red is emergency. Both service and emergency lines are securely mounted to the glad hands on the trailer. The glad hands are not leaking. The lines themselves are not cracked, broken, or leaking, and they're both securely mounted to the truck. My electrical line is securely mounted and plugged into the trailer and the truck. The line is not cut, torn, or frayed. All three lines are hanging up properly. They're not tangled or dragging. Moving on, my apron is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. My fifth wheel is securely mounted. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's properly greased. There is no gap in between the apron and fifth wheel. My release arm is locked in for travel, securely mounted, not cracked, bent, or broken. We'll go around to the back side of the fifth wheel for the kingpin. And right in the middle of the fifth wheel is the kingpin and locking jaws. Both are securely mounted, not cracked, bent, or broken, and the locking jaws are locked for travel. I need to make sure that I have enough clearance between my landing gear and the back of the truck so I can turn safely. The landing gear itself is all the way up for travel, securely mounted, and not cracked, bent, or broken. The crank for the landing gear is also in travel position. From here, I need to talk about my tail lights. My tail lights on the truck are securely mounted. They're red and they're not cracked or broken. My tail lights are working properly. My reflectors on the side of the trailer are clean, DOT approved, and there's none missing. All we need from here is the tail lights and reflectors on the back of the trailer. My reflectors again are clean, DOT approved, and there's none missing. All of my tail lights on the trailer are red, securely mounted, not cracked or broken, and they work properly. That completes the pre-trip inspection.
Let's get trucking.